live period today. Really good to get that type of evaluation on what we really got to keep improving on, but saw a lot of good things. Yeah, it's just day 6 of this, and you got to keep pushing along. But yeah, we'll have a chance to be more physical in the next upcoming days and keep pushing it in a direction to get us ready to go.
How's Bryce Foster doing as he continues to acclimate to this team?
You know, I think he's getting more comfortable in our system and calls and pace of doing practice and some things. Through track and some of those things in his situation, they do spring ball and that. So, any of those guys that's 6 days in, I don't want to, for anybody that's a newcomer, especially when you're an upperclassman newcomer, because obviously you want Bryce to be contributing. So you throw him in there with the first 2 units, and you got a lot of things happening at a faster pace. But been very pleased with him. He's played some center, he's played some guard. As we know, he's a big body that can be physical. So he's going to help this football team.
We've heard a lot about Jalen Todd and how he may be able to contribute, especially being healthy now. Just what have your impressions of him been since the start of the fall camp?
Jalen's been outstanding. Probably, I don't know if I share a story. One of the first weeks here, Jalen was late, and being late's not good in our program. So Jalen was late and kind of heard about it, and from that day on, I think Jalen started was in the building every day by 6 a.m. and left at noon. So, and he's taking advantage of every opportunity. It's probably been said before, you don't have to tell Jalen twice about something. It doesn't mean he hasn't perfected, but he takes it to heart. He takes coaching really well. He works really hard. It's extremely important to Jalen. Where it's going to be in rotation, I can't say yet, because I know Demarius McGee is played some of his best football since he's been here. He's been on the field more consistently. A guy that kind of gets lost in the shuffle sometimes, that's really put some good days together, is Brian Dilworth. So it's going to be competitive there. And again, how many times have we stood in here and talked about making sure we had competition? And I think we'll have it. But as far as some of our younger players that can contribute, I think he's going to put himself in position, whether it be through special teams or anything, through a long season.
With Melo, can you go back to his freshman year and think about the progress to now? Can you speak to the jumps he's made, both on the field and just off?
Well, yeah, a lot. Mel, obviously he's grown in so many ways. I think, Melo's he's, pretty introverted person, keeps to himself for the most part. And sometimes you get the wrong read about really how much he cares and that, but he's very observant. And of course now he's on his 3rd position coach in his time, so that can be tough. But watching him accept coaching and trusting probably more, not that he wasn't coachable. I think he and Kobe both went through, you can gain weight and become faster, not, it's not all those things. And some of, when they first got here, it was COVID and all the other things. So there's a lot of those foundational things that I think we're able to do now with our guys. I think those guys might have missed some of that. But to watch him come as a young man on and off the field is really been kind of rewarding, I guess, in that regard. And that's, like I said, one of the reasons why he went to media day, because I think his perception of what happens and what's happened in this program is definitely worth sharing.
When we talked to Coach Borland last week, he brought up Mason Ellis. Just what have you seen from him going back to the spring and through the start of camp?
Yeah, a guy who continues to gain confidence and understanding of what it's going to take. Mason might be one of the fastest guys on this team, and sometimes that gets lost. Had a heck of a break on a ball Friday night for an interception when it showed his mercy. Got on some teams last year. I think he's going to give himself a chance to be in a rotation, and definitely we're going to need a guy like him on the core units and get him on the field.
And then with Ben Easters, we'll talk to him in a little bit. You talked about his leadership. How important is he to the program, just I guess during the summer when he's one of the captains, and also just this time of year as well?
Extremely important. When you have guys like Ben Easters, you're so fortunate in your program because Ben hasn't played much and he understands the role somewhat, but yet how he goes about it, who he is, how consistent he is, and some guys just have some of that it factor. A year ago I talked a little bit about Cole Ballard having that, being received by the team very quickly. Ben's one that continues, though, as the program has changed some faces, continues to be well respected. When he says something, it's received really well and taken to heart, and even though he may not be high on the depth chart, and that's really neat to see. And again, when in today's I guess environment, the way things are going, to have somebody as completely unselfish as he is to help this team, I think others take notice.
Hey Lance, I've seen Bill and Gorsica kind of go in some guard tackle. Has he always moved between those two spots?
Well, he has a little bit. He's mainly playing tackle now, John. He played a lot of guard here previously, late last season. When we had some injuries towards the bowl game, he played some at the right tackle spot. He's been mainly playing up until maybe yesterday and today, left tackle, and we're gonna keep moving. Especially he and Logan, to play right and left. Might give Bryce Cable to a little time at left as well, and then just keep looking for the right match up front. Michael Ford's been a little limited, which got a little banged up on Friday night, so he's been real probably out of team reps last 2 days, but out there. So it gives us a chance to kind of continue to kind of mix guys and move them to some different spots. James Livingston was also going to take a few reps inside. I did with Scott, but when Scott Fuchs was here, but Daryl, I really started when Daryl and I were together. I don't know which place, but we'll start talking as we progress through camp. Where are we at with the top 10 maybe of a line, okay? And then within the top 10, okay, who's really, when you get into it, 6, 7, and 8 of the rotation, and then and he says for it's nothing against any player at that point, but if you strictly have backups at a spot and a guy gets hurt, and the guy that had to go in, if you did it that way, was really your 10th best, and maybe the 5th of the second team guys, I don't know if you're doing your team right. So the more we can cross train, the more we can have guys that can step in, will it be, Shane Baumgartner's really gotten better. Daryl Simmons has really gotten better. You can tell the difference with both those guys' conditioning, strength, and understanding of our offense after they've been here a while. But as it goes through, is Shane going to be at center, or Bryce, or Michael Ford? And then what are the mixing pieces? So that's what we're trying to work on a little bit this week, and then we'll kind of get back to where that's going to settle. But we're gonna play around with that a little bit.
Since you arrived in Kansas, is this the most depth you've had on the O-line?
Not quite ready to say that completely. It could be trending that way. I think what we're really, I think from where you guys are at, maybe from that is, I think visually it's probably where we want it to be the best it's been. But we've got some development to do there. Our first year we weren't quite where we wanted to be. We had some bigger bodies, some older bodies. It wasn't quite, and we were all learning on the fly that this camp at that time. I like where we're trending with our younger linemen and the length we've been able to put in this program. And I think our younger guys, though they may be swimming and through the paces of everything, I'm excited about the newcomers that just arrived from high school as well, and where they'll grow in our program as well.
What are you seeing from the defensive end spot on the opposite side of Jeremy?
Get better. Dean Miller continues to get better. Dylan Woodkey, has shown up a little bit. You know, he was hampered with a hamstring last spring. Really, it was hard to get a read on him. Jeremy Robinson made a nice play here today. He's been so consistent. You know, Bai Job has a hand injury. It kind of slowed him down, but he's back out there today. Trying to rapid fire through my guys that I can keep. You know, Cole Petrus is a guy that never really gets as an outstanding walk-on. Has been on a lot of teams. The two young guys, Dak and DJ, you know, their upside is so positive. You know, again, we just keep them coming and understanding between, you know, understanding all the things that we keep adding to the package, and then also being consistent in run and pass. Trying to think somebody else I wanted to mention in that group that I forgot. So I think I hit most of them. No, Ron McGee returned to practice. He had, you know, he's coming off that knee surgery last year. Just had a minor setback that threw him back a couple days, but he's back out there, should be ready to go. So it's going to be competitive, John, and it's, you know, the thing is you don't want to just say situational football for those guys, because that'll become predictable of what we're doing. But at the same time, I think as the position continues to grow and guys, you know, will eventually maybe separate and establish along, you know, who's really going to be out there the longest. I think through rotation and depth of that, I think that position can be very productive.
How's the kicking competition been between Charlie and Owen?
I think it's been good. I mean, Charlie continues to be very consistent. Owen has a very powerful leg. And, you know, in the practice here today, Charlie made his, Owen did not. That doesn't mean, and Tabor Allen has done such a great job for us in kickoffs. You know, we just kind of mainly keep him in that role, but then shoot, every time I kind of watch him when he rotates in our small periods of doing it, he's right about with the rest of them on consistency. So I like where we're at there. You know, we're going to keep testing with distance, and being inside today, I guess, you know, helped us as a lot as a team. And the thing is, we got to be able to take that same energy and battle through the heat the same way.
We've heard a bit about DK getting to work with the safeties as well as the corners. Just how important has it been to have, I guess, a unified voice in the secondary in that respect?
You know, that's always you know, it's 6 one, half dozen of another. You know, we did that last year to an extent where, you know, when Jordan was with us, Jordan would meet with all of them, and it kind of split off. Right now, you know, it's allowed Brian to do more front seven observation, which I've always tried to encourage him. That not that it was there, but this will give us a chance to, you know, for him to see how guys are doing and working and coaching and how it's being coached. And but DK is a great addition to this staff, and just some of the points, and not just because he was in the NFL or anything, but his knowledge of his conference, his you know, his demeanor and how he teaches and goes about it. He's demanding and fair, but he's got a good way about it. And then as we get rolling, and we're still fixing some things in the building too, that's caused part of that is we'll get some things up and going, whether it be Coach Moreland or Brandon Shelby will be breaking off and doing stuff with the corners as well. They're all in the room, they're all on the same page, and not to say that it's never was done like that before isn't necessarily accurate. So I don't want to make it, but it's good, and he's able to utilize his time in meetings. And it's good that you can do it now, guys, because we really have unlimited time during the day. We get multiple meeting times. So you can get through some stuff and install, especially during installation that you can hear that they're all hearing it from that consistency. But you can say the same thing up front with D tackles and DNs sometimes too. There's some coaches that feel, hey, it's good if it's just one voice. You know, we talked about the other day about making sure when we're working twists and games and stuff that we got to get the guys in there working together. It can't be just two separate things.
What are the linebacker positions looking like? And Coach Borland talked a little bit about how beneficial it is to have Marvin Grant sort of in that Cinco position a little bit closer to the line in that group as well.
Yeah, I'll try to go in reverse here. you know, Marvin Grant, has played some of his best football. You know, it was towards the end of last year even that I felt, wow, he's finally gotten healthy because he was moving so much differently than he did almost his first year and a half in this program. And, so to see him, I'm excited to see Marvin play a full year. I really think he's got a chance to be impactful wherever he lines up. Linebacker wise, still got to keep working on depth and things, but really like where Cornell Wheeler's been and where he keeps going. He missed Friday's practice. The young man that passed away from Utah State was his roommate at Michigan his freshman year, so we got him home for that. But Cornell's been very steady. Taiwan Berryhill continues to be steady, and the guy that's probably stood out and really playing some good football right now is J.B. Brown. He's playing fast and confident. You can tell he's really comfortable with what he's supposed to be doing within our defense, and he keeps showing up. Alex Reich had a really good spring. I think he continues to get better. We'll need him on, he's a heavy special teams guy, but he can be in that top 5. And Jason Gilliam continues to when Jason's healthy and he can help this football team as he's moved down from safety over a year ago. And then a guy that's Logan Brantley, still got he's going to be a really good football player. He is fast, he'll hit. He's just continue to process and understanding assignments and where it's at when things are changing, but he's working at it. And so he's there, and then probably the last one, just to kind of bring in that I think has had a really good first few days here, and will help us on special teams, is Tristan Fletcher. And Fletch is extremely a coachable guy who's positive and understands his role, but he's progressed nicely.
What have you seen from John Kamara, a guy who's a corner 2 years ago?
Yeah, and that's the thing, and I'll say this, I'll keep saying it. We'll look at it and how we're practicing. I'm not really sure, but some of these positions have a lot to learn and then process, and then offensively, guys, it's not like we're lining up in one formation or with an inside and an outside receiver and going. These guys got a lot of things that they're going through. So, I am not disappointed with any of our young players and recruits. So just because I don't mention them doesn't mean they're not what we thought they could be. It's gonna take some time. Time could be 3 weeks, time could be 3 months. I don't know. And I don't wanna put the pressure on these young men that they feel like what's happened. I think that's what happens in college football. Guys, no offense, you guys rate them and they do all this stuff, and then when it doesn't happen as fast as they want, then they start questioning their decisions, and everybody else starts getting in their ear. They just need to go through the steps, and when it happens, because John was a corner, and if you look at the picture we had in his recruiting profile, he looked like he could have, played in a Little League World Series or something. But now he looks at him, he's a man, he works extremely hard, and he's so coachable, and he's really fun to be around because he's highly positive. He got slowed by a little rib thing, something abdomen but he never missed time. So I'm excited about John because his ceiling is so high to keep learning about the game and how to use his body. And Coach Simpson just said to me one day, he goes, we're doing kind of a one-on-one drill in space, and he goes, 2 steps, and the guy covered almost 5 yards. It was, and it was a short fit, one like he's running full speed. So, he's going to help the Jayhawks, no doubt.
And then real quick, Cole and Isaiah, Cole obviously thrown into it a little bit last year. Mm-hmm. Isaiah gets the spring. What have you seen from those guys, and maybe where have they come through the season?
Again, you see them much more comfortable. I can't say how much. I can't tell you how much the spring and the early enrollment for Isaiah really has helped him. We don't have that every quarterback was with us in the spring, so there's not that extra delay, pause that you get sometimes when it really starts happening fast with our quarterbacks getting them out. Now, sometimes it may be at another position, but you can see the you know, that experience take over. Cole is stronger, he's faster, he's worked on delivery, he continues to get better, and he is so competitive, and that's what I love about him. And he's not going to get flustered, and you can get after him a little bit, and he takes coaching. Same thing with Isaiah. Isaiah is so even keeled, and it's unbelievable. And they say that's the way he's been ever since. But yeah, you know, good, bad, and different. If you started watching him, I don't know if you put a solo camera on him, I don't know if you could tell just by watching with him if the play was really good or really bad, because he just what you really want in that position, that his highs aren't too high, his lows aren't low. But yeah, again, very pleased with them, especially just after a short period of time.
Anything else, Coach Leipold?
Appreciate you guys.